Hello and welcome to Easy Star Trek Online with me, Kath. And today we're talking about pre-buffing. So pre-buffing is where you, before the start of a TFO, you activate abilities so that when you start the TFO, you are going into the TFO with those abilities activated. So I'm in space at the moment, and the particular trait that I'm going to focus on is Ship of the Line. You can do this with other traits as well, but this is a really good example. So let's have a look at Ship of the Line. Activating an emergency power ability grants increased critical severity for a moderate duration. The bonus stacks partially, improving by an additional amount with each extra stack. Emergency power abilities grant 20% critical severity for 30 seconds. This bonus can stack, increasing by an additional 10% per stack. Now, with this particular trait, when you do the first activation, it gives you 20%, and then if you have another activation of a different emergency power ability, it grants an extra 10%. Now, importantly, that second activation refreshes the time for the entire stack. So, for example, you activate the first ability and you've got 30 seconds left on that. You activate the second ability, it stacks twice, so you get 20% plus 10%, 30% total, but it also resets to 30 seconds as well. What this means is that you can go into the TFO with an extra 40% crit severity. Now, in practice, how this works is, so I'm in the Nimbus system where I can activate some abilities. So I'm going to go into my stats. I'm doing this in the Mirror Warship. I quite like flying the Mirror Warship. So my resting crit severity is 142. So if I activate emergency power to engines, you can see that Ship of the Line activates and I get an extra 20% crit severity. Now, emergency power have a shared cooldown, so that put my emergency power to weapons onto cooldown for 15 seconds. Now, as soon as that becomes available, I'm going to hit that again. So now I've got an extra 10%. So I've got 2 stacks of Ship of the Line, an extra 30%. So now I'm just going to wait for my emergency power to engines to get down to its activation time, which is 10 seconds away, and then I'll be able to get 3 stacks of Ship of the Line. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I've got 3 stacks of Ship of the Line, 182% or 40% extra crit severity starting going into the TFO. So the first 30 seconds of that TFO, I'm going to be going in with an extra 40% crit severity. Now, in that time, my emergency power to weapons should activate again once the TFO started. So actually I get a massive head start. So I've got 50% extra crit severity there. So that is how you pre-buff that one particular trait. Now, when you come to pre-buff, you do a lot. You can do a lot beforehand. So just as an example, you might do Fleet Power Network Array. So the activation for that would be OSS 3, Ox Battery, and Fleet Power Network Array. And you do that before the start of a TFO at, say, 5 seconds. And the same with Intel Fleet. Same with Tactical Fleet if you're a tactical captain. And I've also got a Science Fleet. You can do the same with that. So you can activate all of those abilities before the start of a TFO to get a bit of a jump on before the start of a TFO. What does that look like in an actual ISE? So if I launch, I'm going to launch an advanced ISE just by myself, just to see exactly what that might look like. And I'll bring up my stats window as well so you can see the bonus stats that we get from doing that pre-buffing before the start of the TFO. I did launch that, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah. So it's loading. I'll give that a minute. So for the purposes of the league, DPS leagues, this is legal. So you can pre-buff. It's not considered cheating, so you can do that. Okay, so as soon as I get into the map, I'm going to push my emergency power to engines, and I'm also going to launch my Kobayashi Maru. I've also put myself to full impulse as well. Okay, activating my lure team command, and then as soon as emergency power to weapons is available, I'm launching that. Let's get my stats up. Okay, so 10 seconds to go. So I'm going to start doing my pre-buffs and then just fire everything, emergency power to engines. And as you can see, I'm launching with a nice everything pre-buffed and ready to go, so I can get that initial alpha spike that you often see when you're doing DPS. I'm a bit of a completionist, so I'm going to continue with this. Get this. Might as well do the TFO. Let's go and do the other side. I'm in completely the wrong position for this. I don't do very much solo stuff anymore. I died. Anyway, so that covers pre-buffing. As I mentioned previously, that is legal for the purposes of DPS leagues. It's not considered cheating. So time to come out of that. There we go. Okay, so that is pre-buffing. I hope you've learned something from this. If you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. All feedback's appreciated. If there's a particular topic that you'd like me to cover, then please let me know. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye.